the statement of purpose of the strengthened senior high school curriculum and its pilot implementation, and also even the Gen Ed curriculum being proposed by CHED. But the private education sector wants to ensure the following in the alignment of objectives and policies, especially between DepEd and CHED. First, stability of policy amidst reform fatigue. CHED and DepEd should ensure that whatever change that will be introduced is grounded on solid legal grounds in order to survive the administrative changes in the future. So policy should be stable enough to survive shifting directions and passions that go with change of administrations. Second, clarity of policy for stakeholders. Policy should be clear enough to prevent different and incorrect interpretations on the implementation, but flexible enough to allow innovation in curriculum design of PEIs. Third, most private schools establish programs that made them invest in securing the needed social and physical structures. Some schools even built a separate building for the original senior high school program before. So therefore, results of the pilot implementation must be cascaded to PEIs immediately, as this will impact the infrastructure utilization and retooling and retraining of our teachers and even enrollment concerns. So we emphasize, just like what our colleagues here in the private sectors said a while ago, that we need to retool and retrain our teachers. Fourth, and this is what we are really somehow afraid of, is the proposed structure may bring significant impact on the existing human resources of private schools. Medyo nakakatakot talaga dito po yung we might result to redundancy because we are under the labor code, the law that governs us is the labor code of the Philippines, and that is the recourse in these cases. A while ago, the public sector mentioned about their concerns about this, but I think since you have the plantilla, this is more concern of the private schools because sa amin po talaga, no teaching load, no work. We cannot naman demote them to become staff, di ba? So what we are emphasizing here is that CHED and DepEd must be able to reduce displacement of students going to higher education due to misalignment of course or subject descriptions of electives on the new senior high school curriculum, and displacement of teachers and faculty must be reduced or avoided. If not, there must be a program of assistance for the affected teachers and faculty. Lastly, COCOPEA therefore offers some recommendations. Number one, I would just like to reiterate the manifestation a while ago of Dr. Fermin, because we were there in the FGD. We suggest that for DepEd and CHED, and if necessary, PRC and CHED, to issue a joint order to set the minimum academic qualifications for senior high school completers' admission to higher education. Must be programs strand-specific to ensure alignment and eliminate duplication of courses in college, and teacher and faculty qualifications as well. Now, why joint order? Because it is more stable than a DO and CMO separately issued, as it would require unanimous approval of the agency heads to amend or repeal. And number two, for DepEd and CHED to explore allowing PEIs to offer an integrated program which consists of HSS and 2 years of Gen Ed in college. Suggestion na naman po. Meaning a one-stop shop will reduce bureaucratic barriers, allows simplicity of procedures for PEIs, and it will also allow more alignment, seamlessness, and reduce displacement of faculty teachers in PEIs if they offer an integrated SHS Gen Ed program, both in DepEd and CHED. So to conclude, private schools need sufficient time to carefully address the impact of the proposed curriculum on the organizational structure, enrollment, and social and physical infrastructure. and therefore we look forward for the consideration of our suggestions and immediate feedback and data based on the pilot implementation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Jacome. Based on the slide of EDCOM, 44% of our senior high schools are in private schools. Now, can we flash that again? Slide 10. So halos kalahati ng senior high schools natin are in private schools. So in other words, the strengthened senior high school curriculum, our private schools should also follow the same curriculum. Tama ba? That's the objective, no? So they will also have electives. They will also have Tech Pro and core learning. Okay. I would assume that a lot. I don't have the data right now, Carol, but maybe you have, no? I would assume that a lot of this 44% are, most of them are probably voucher system with top up, no? So meaning they can afford to study in private schools, no? But then again, if you go by the DepEd numbers, out of that 44, kalahati don't take TechVoc. Kasi half of that, 58% of the private schools offering senior high schools do not have TechVoc. So that 44, you divide that into half. More or less, more or less. They don't take TechVoc because their goal nga is to go to college, you know. So that's just to take note of that, no? Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I'll just add. So, I guess two things to highlight. In 2016, the initial implementation, I believe the proportion was 60%, no? 60% private. So, pababa na siya ng pababa. From 60, nasa 44% ngayon, yung private provision. The other thing, sir, that we want to highlight based on the statement that you made in your observation is that minsan, I think po, minsan, based on the case studies we've seen in several municipalities, it is not because that they can afford it. It is because sometimes they really have no options. And so we want to ask DepEd actually to give us a sense of which areas are there no proximate public SHSs that are actually affordable, and have we done any analysis on what is accessible senior high school? Kasi paano naman yung mga bata magtatapos ng grade 10 tapos bahala na kayong humanap ng private SHS na kaya nyong bayaran? Kung hindi nyo kaya, paano yun? What if lahat ng nasa munisipyo may patop up? Paano natin gagawin yun? And what are controls there to make sure that there are affordable ones? So may mga ibang kayang mag-afford, baka may iba titigil na lang or susubok pero magda-drop out kasi hindi kayang i-sustain. So yung pag-aaral lang, sir, na ganun, to make sure that there's equitable access talaga to senior high school. Because malinaw po na 44% private and napakarami po talaga na nanggagaling naman sa public junior high school. So, siguro po kailangan talagang pagtuunan ng pansin habang inaaral natin yung supply side. Kasi baka may mga hindi tayo natutustusan ng maayos dahil po sa problemang to. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I'm sure DepEd is also taking note of that. So, going back to our discussion, are there any more comments on our discussion on the strengthened senior high school curriculum? Anything from EDCOM or CHED? Or yes, go ahead, Mr. Cesar.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Question lang po from our friends from DepEd. Kasi based on their presentation, dalawa yung magpa-pilot, the public and the private. Parang kulang ng information yung support provision for private institutions. Anong mangyayari sa kanila when we do the piloting? Are they on their own? O merong support na manggagaling sa DepEd? Yun po yung isang observation ko dito. Then second po, of course, yung investment nila in learning resources, ang mention lang po nila yung mga libro. But based on our experience sa TESDA kasi, talagang the most difficult and expensive investment are the facilities and the teachers' development. Second, those are the most expensive. Maganda yung catalog. Actually, natuwa ako sa catalog. Kasi yung catalog, parang at the end of the day, it will relieve TESDA from offering NC1 and NC2. Kasi parang nandun na sa high school. However, realistically, tama po yung observation ng Mr. Chair that it's a